Hi, my name is Arianna. I'm from Caracas, Venezuela, and I'm going to teach you how to make a honey cake, and it's called Ita's honey cake. So now we're going to separate the eggs, the yolks from the whites, and they work better when the eggs are cold. And try not to have any yolk in the whites, because we're going to prepare a meringue. So there's 4 eggs and we need 1 more. You don't need any of this, fancy devices to separate eggs, so just do it with the shells. So now we're gonna mix the cake, and this cake is really good and it's really mild. And I have my 2 grandmas making 2 different cakes. One was the typical, a lot of spices and coffee, but it was too strong for me as a kid. So I prefer my other grandma's Ita's cake, and this is my favorite cake for Rosh HaShanah. And now my grandma is in Israel and I'm in California and my sister is in Michigan. And we all get together by each baking their cakes and sharing the pictures. So we're gonna mix the egg yolks with like a couple tablespoons of the sugar, not everything, because we need some for the meringue. And we want it to have like a fluffy yellow mixture. Now we're gonna start adding the honey very slow. It's a lot of honey, so you will have a very sweet year. And there's no vanilla in this cake, so actually the flavors will come only from the honey and the tea. And now when we have this cream mixture, we're gonna start with the vegetable oil. We can just lower a little bit the speed so we don't get full of oil. At this point you can turn a little bit more, so more speed. And now we're gonna mix the flour with the baking soda, and the baking powder. Okay, so you can stir it with a fork, and it will be fine. And as you can see, it's really creamy. Now we're gonna alternate between the tea and the dry ingredients. So we're gonna add a little bit of the tea to the mixture. And then we're gonna add a little bit of the flour. And then we're gonna add a little bit of the tea. And then a little bit of the flour again. And then a little bit more of the tea. It's important to stop the machine and open it, and with a little spatula just scrape the border so you be sure that everything is getting in and everything is getting well mixed. So you mix one more time. And you scrape one more time. And you don't want to overmix it, because if you overmix, you just make the gluten of the flour come out and it gets really tough cake. So you don't want to be tough. Okay, so that's it. Now we're going to prepare the meringue. That's the second part of the cake, and it's going to make it really fluffy. And this is the same way for any cake to prepare a meringue. You add the egg whites, a room temperature, And you can add a little bit of cream of tartar or some drops of lemon. This acidic part will make, you know, the meringue stands and holds for more, like a longer period of time, and it's make the cakes fluffier. So if you have it, use it, and if not, it's okay too. And we're gonna add a pinch of salt, just a tiny bit. So it brings the flavor of the honey and the tea out. So it's important to have always a little bit of salt. And now we're gonna start mixing it. And we're gonna add the sugar slowly, the rest of the sugar. So we're gonna have a very glossy meringue. So now that you start seeing some white, like foam, is when it's a good moment to start adding the sugar slowly. So let's check if it's ready, and the way to check it is you turn off the machine and you pull, and it's a little bit too runny, so we're gonna mix it a little bit more. You want a very dry, stiff meringue. You want a smooth and glossy one. Let's see. Okay, so it's perfect. So you see how glossy it is? And it's soft. You know, it's not really hard, but it's not runny. It's really creamy and soft. So now we're gonna fold the meringue into the batter that we already prepared. So we have the batter here that we made before, and we have the meringue. And the only way to do this is by spatula. So just get rid of your machine. And we're gonna add like half of it now. And we're gonna fold that slowly inside. And now we're gonna add the other half. So as you can see, it's really soft and fluffy mixture. Now we're gonna add the rest of the meringue here. And you try to divide it in two, because the first part of the meringue that goes in, it deflates a little bit. Makes the batter lighter, and now with the other half, it's gonna really spongy. It's gonna be very good. Okay, so now that it's mixed, we're gonna prepare the mold. And this is the exact mold that my grandma used, but it's a 12-inch, so you can do a 12-inch. We're gonna use some oil. This is really easy because you can spray it very well so it won't stick. And then we're gonna use a little bit of flour, and we're just gonna tap the mold like this to get a little bit of the flour all around and to the sides. And the part of the sides, you can just do it here so you won't make a mess. And then you tap the excess. Okay, now that we have our mold, we're gonna put all the batter in. And just fill it like 3/4, because this cake is gonna grow up. Yummy, it smells really good. Now we're gonna bake it at 350 for like 40 minutes until it's like golden brown. At the end, when the cake is ready and it's cooled down, don't put this when the cake is hot because it's gonna melt. You can just take a little sieve with powdered sugar and just add a little bit of powdered sugar on top. So it looks, you know, nicer to serve. So that's it. It has honey cake. Hope you like it. Enjoy.